In a distant galaxy, there is a planet of magic powers known as Verharan, where 4 dominant nations stand. These nations are known as Wong, the ancient land, Tarpas, the open and free nation, Fursares, the nation of war and violence, and Agnisa, the highly civilized nation. The creator ensured that the planet was mostly peaceful between the nations, until one day when the balance of magic was broken, causing a fire of doom to ignite, putting the planet in danger. The magical fire symbolizes that something horrible is going to happen to Verhanan very soon. The fire reaches a village, which causes all of the residents to desperately evacuate before a mysterious person creates a shield that prevents the fire from reaching the village. It turns out to be the high priest of Wong, who has saved the residents, alongside his holy bird. The priest states that he hasn't seen a fire of doom for over 300 years before unleashing his powers and bringing it to an end, resulting in the villagers all bowing down and graciously thanking him. The high priest then spots a purple illuminating light in the distance and proceeds to pull the source of the light towards him. It turns out to be a crystal that energizes with dark magic upon picking it up. Meanwhile, a naval ship of Tarpas sails across the sea, with the vice captain, Virat, detecting a moving object on the radar system. The object turns out to be a sea creature that they are currently hunting, so Virat orders the crew to keep tracking it. He then gives us a brief flashback to only last week, and explains that he and the crew were ordered to venture out to sea, and find the creature and bring it to an end, as it had been destroying many ships for months now. Virat continues to explain that the creature is very difficult to kill and that the crew is now rapidly running out of supplies and ammo. Their next attack will now be their last chance to get the kill. The creature is now moving towards the ship, so Virat tells his crew to prepare for an attack and to also inform the captain. A crew member attempts to contact him, but there is no response or answer to the call. In a cabin aboard the ship, the captain, Lupe, is currently raking through a box looking for an object which he can't seem to find. The creature is near and there is no sign of the captain, which results in Virat taking leadership and ordering the crew to fire a round of missiles, which all successfully land. The creature is still alive, however, as he is still present on the radar system and rapidly approaches to attack the ship. The crew is very short on ammunition and energy now, so are left with no option but to brace themselves for impact as the creature strikes the ship, which causes damage to the cabin. This alerts Lupe, who quickly attends to the cabin and uses magical powers to instantly repair and block the damage. He returns to his cabin, where he picks up a breathing mask and suit, and contacts Virat to tell him that he now has a solution to defeat the creature, which has now retreated from the ship. Virat meets Lupe outside and explains to him that they are rapidly running out of ammunition and resources and must back out of the hunt. Lupe tells him, however, that his magic abilities are more powerful than any of the weapons and he has a plan to defeat the creature but would need him as part of it. Virat agrees to partake as there are no other options to successfully catch the creature. Moments later, he is equipped with a breathing mask and suit and is tied up to a hook as they plan to attack from close range. He's shot into the sea, with Lupe using his powers to fly down to join him. It turns out they have been hunting a whale the whole time as they both sneakily approach to attack, but to their surprise, the whale is very powerful, as they discover it has been hit with a blackthorn which grants a source of dark energy. This causes the rope to break, which results in them both retreating to the ship, where they are met by the crew, who ask what happened. Virat explains that they've been hunting a whale that has been infected with a blackthorn, causing it to become violent. This shocks the crew as the whales are peaceful and begin to question if it's perhaps hurt and ready to die, which Lupe overhears and tells himself that it's showing no sign of fatigue and has been energetic for days on end. He then comes up with another plan and tells the crew that they could remove the blackthorn and instead save it rather than attack. At first, the crew isn't so keen on the idea as they don't believe his powers are strong enough, but after some convincing they agree with him it's the best idea. Lupe prepares to remove the blackthorn from the whale. He plans on pulling it out by hand with the support of the ship by attaching a rope, which is the only resource the ship has left remaining. He dives into the sea and approaches the whale, and connects the rope to the thorn before setting off a flare as a signal to the ship to accelerate and steer in the opposite direction. Lupe then attempts to pull at the thorn, but suddenly, a pair of big red eyes appear which makes him back off momentarily. He's briefly shocked at first but concludes to himself that it was only an illusion and proceeds to pull at the thorn. Lupe struggles as it is very deep inside the whale and wrestles to try and get it out, but with help from the ship, he pulls very hard and eventually succeeds in doing so, resulting in the whale returning to its normal state. The sky brightens, and Lupe, Violet, and the crew watch on in amazement, admiring the beauty of the whale which is now free from the dark magic. Later on in the day, Lupe and Violet sit in the captain's cabin and document the mission report. Lupe is sitting by the window and has a flashback to when he was a child with his father, who shows and tells him about how great the sea is, and how it's the home of the cloud whale which leads people to the Southlands. A young Lupe is intrigued by this and wishes to see it one day before his mother comes over and hands him a necklace from the temple. Moments later, he and his parents are attacked whilst being on board a ship. Lupe attempts to explain to Violet about resigning after the voyage is complete. However, he is hesitant to let the words come out and backs down from informing him. The mission report is complete and they decide to store the blackthorn in a box before leaving the cabin. Later at night, when the crew are all asleep, a mysterious being teleports onto the ship and approaches the box in the captain's cabin. He energizes the blackthorn, causing a dark virus to spread around the ship, letting off an evil laugh in the process. The virus is caught by every member of the crew, who are all possessed and become zombie-like. Lupe hears that something isn't right and acts quickly, avoiding the possession, only to discover that the full crew, including Violet, are all being manipulated and are attempting to attack him. He defends himself from the crew and decides not to counter their blows, but he's eventually outnumbered and tackled to the ground with no escape. Violet stands over Lupe, who is pinned down, and begins to pull the trigger on his gun to kill him. But out of nowhere, two mysterious beings show up and quickly cast a spell that disables Violet and the crew from any further attacks. They say to a baffled Lupe that he can't be much of a fighter, as they had to save him, and that there is a source of dark energy coming from upstairs which they are there to attend to. Lupe realizes this is the blackthorn and proceeds to chase after them. The two men attempt to grab onto the energized blackthorn, but both struggle to get within a touching reach and defend themselves from its wrath before Lupe shows up and breezes through the room and brings it to a halt with ease. After the thorn is dealt with, the two men introduce themselves as Shun and Regan, who are of royalty to Wong, and that Shun was sent by his sister Mayo to save the crew. It's revealed that his sister is the heir to Wong and can see bad things in the future, which is why they were both sent to retrieve the blackthorn. Lupe snaps and tells them that they won't be taking it to Wong, as he and his crew found it, starting an argument that leads to him agreeing to settle the debate with a duel on deck against Regan. Violet and Shun watch from above as Lupe and Regan begin to fight. The action only lasts briefly, however, as Shun intervenes and tells Lupe that they were only testing his powers to ensure that he wasn't being controlled by the thorn. Lupe is upset by this, which Shun responds to by apologizing for lying and explains that the thorn is so mysteriously powerful and dangerous, making him not want to take any risks. He storms away, with Violet taking the lead to discuss the fate of the thorn, suggesting that Mayo could potentially help, which is denied instantly by Shun, as he would not want to put Wong in danger with the weapon. They conclude, however, that due to its smoothly cut shape, the best person to take it to would be Vela, the master of magical weapons. A frustrated and upset Lupe agrees with Violet that they take the thorn there, in order to learn more about it and why it possessed the crew and infected a whale. They all agree and continue with the new voyage. Meanwhile, the mysterious being from earlier floats near the ship with a magic book which he orders to show him Mayo. He lets off an evil laugh and disappears. But that's where this video ends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.